Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. And back in our little studio here, and good to be home. Okay, who's up number one this morning? Here we go. It is our friend Brahim from Portland, Oregon. Eric from Ottawa. Mike from Norland, good morning. And we appreciate you guys coming on. Lori Lee, Ventura, California. And Andrea from Niagara Falls. And let's say hello to Tina, Nova Scotia. Rosa from Montreal. And Mary from Norwich, good morning. Linda from St. Jude, Quebec. Gloria, San Antonio, Texas. And Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia, Yalound, right in our backyard in Hamner. Robin in Connecticut. Wendy, good morning from Markham. Annette, good morning. Bonjour, Vince. Good morning to you. And Judy, I think that was Judy, right? From Edmonton. Donna, Maria. And you see Kevin? I don't. Francis, good morning. Lioness, how are you? Dorothy, Newfoundland. Danny, good morning to you. Grace from the Rock in Newfoundland, beautiful. Donna, Newfoundland, man, oh man, Newfoundland's well represented. Faye, Rain. Karen, Peterborough. Patricia from Sudbury. Keith, good morning. And Renee, how are ya? And there's Kevin. One day, Kevin, everybody worries about you. Jan, if they don't see you, or I don't see you, I guess. And Deb from Timmins, good morning, Deb. And Jeanette from Hearst, Northern Ontario, well represented. Rose, Brampton. Maureen from Penticton, British Columbia, and it would be bright and early there. Karen from Kincardine, Veronica, good morning. And Ron, Northern Idaho. And Helena, Cambridge. And Judy. Oh, I want to sing, Judy. You have no idea. Jeanette, bonjour. And Carol, how are you? New Brunswick. Sharon from Kansas. Couple of more. Monique. Good morning. Laurie, Alberta. Gwen, Alberta. Bonnieville. Doris, how are you? And Susan from Toronto. Joanne, how are you? Kevin says it feels good to be loved. Karen, Little Britain. And Kathy, missing the sun. Yeah, who isn't? We're going to talk about that today. Okay, now listen. If you have been following us for any length of time, the Martin Clinic, we talk about the seeds of disease. So you see it in my board right here. Got it? There's the seeds of disease. Better, closer, guys? What do you want? Closer this way, that way? How's that? Look pretty good? Can you see it? Okay, so the seeds of disease. Now, at the Martin Clinic, we've taught, will teach, that the underlying seeds of disease, and we named 3 of them, okay? 1, numero uno on the hit parade, insulin. Insulin will save your life, but insulin will kill you if you use it too much. And we call that high circulating insulin or insulin resistance, okay? High circulating insulin or insulin resistance. Got it? The number 1 thing on the hit parade that will kill you is high circulating insulin or insulin resistance. Because insulin, and we all know what it is, insulin is a food hormone. You only use insulin when you eat. Do you think it's important what you eat? So we've tried to preach this for, it seems like a century. It's not a century, but for a long time. We've been consistent, talking about the importance of avoiding insulin resistance, okay? And we talked about this, and almost every day, probably with very few exceptions, have we not talked about insulin. Primarily, you've got to understand, my expertise is clinical nutrition. So obviously, I'm very, very interested in insulin. And this wasn't, let's say 50 years ago, it would not be in a seed of disease. Wasn't even there. I wouldn't have classified it as such. Not that there wasn't diabetes or whatever, but today, because of our carboholism, our insistence on avoiding eggs, meat, and cheese, people today are carboholics, and people today consume 200 pounds on average of sugar a year. What that does to your pancreas, my friend, is makes insulin a seed of disease. Because you develop insulin resistance. When you develop insulin resistance, you develop inflammation. Your body starts a process. And how do you measure whether your insulin is high or not, insulin resistance? High A1C. 93% of the population have a problem with insulin. 93%. Because they have some form of metabolic syndrome, which is, you can measure it. High A1C, above 5.4, high triglycerides, low HDL, belly fat, okay, and high blood pressure, slightly elevated blood glucose, even if it's in normal limits. And the one I like to add to that is uric acid. Uric acid is a biomarker of elevated insulin. Got it? Okay. So those are, a seed of disease is insulin. High circulating insulin. Or insulin resistance. Okay? When you insist on eating carbs, it's going to turn to sugar in a rapid time. Your body has to secrete a lot of insulin. Can't allow sugar to stay in your bloodstream. And the rest is history because it becomes a seed of disease. What do we talk about? Okay? When we talk about the seeds of disease, okay, I'm going to name 5. I won't even write them up because I got no room on my board. I want to keep number 4 and number 5 here because I'm going to show you something today. Okay? But when I talk about chronic disease, what am I talking about? Heart disease, number 1. Cancer, number 2. Alzheimer's, number 3. Diabetes, number 4. And 5, autoimmune diseases. Those are chronic diseases, and the seeds of which are, number 1, insulin, food. What can you control? Food. How can you lower insulin resistance? Food. Food is medicine. And unfortunately, we've been lied to, and we talk about this all the time. We're lied to, And when we get lied to, people don't know this. People, if you ask people what causes heart disease, they wouldn't say insulin, they'd say cholesterol. Right? And therefore, what has become a superstar in the world is fiber. It's a superstar. You gotta get fiber. Right? Well, if you want to get fiber, drink coffee. Because fiber's good. And coffee's got fiber. Okay. No, but true. It's true. I watched it happen. I was explaining to a friend yesterday, my father, my hero, and him telling me in 1968, and I never forgot it, and I watched him, son, it's called sugar diabetes. Because my dad was a diabetic. Found out in 1968. It's called sugar diabetes. And I watched my dad eliminate sugar and hardly eat any carbs at all. He loved them, but he said, no, it's sugar diabetes. I go to school. I get taught PhD, fiber, cholesterol. I got taught. But all the time in my head, I go, I don't think so. I don't think so. I was always questioning that. I was questioning the narrative even in the 1970s. Questioning it. Cholesterol bad. Nah. No. Sugar's bad. Sugar's bad. And carbs that turn to sugar are bad. Okay. Number one, seed of disease. Heart, cancer, Alzheimer's, remember, called type 3 diabetes in 2005. Right? Were they right? Yeah, sure they were right. Did it get buried? Yeah, it got buried. People didn't like that. The big pharma didn't like that. And big food didn't like that. So what did they do? Buried it. Buried it. Okay? Now, the second seed of disease, you guys know this, very important, is leaky gut. We talk about it all the time. I talked about it yesterday. I will always, as long as I'm given a platform, we'll talk about leaky gut. 2,000 years ago, Hippocrates said, okay, Simple Simon said, no, what did Hippocrates say? All disease starts in the gut. Now, guys, you got to remember, in school I was taught that. They looked at Hippocrates. You took the oath, okay? All doctors take an oath, and they lead it back to Hippocrates, and you will do no harm, okay? But what we really didn't get the memo from Hippocrates is that all disease starts in the gut. Okay? Wasn't 100% right, but he was close. And the more we study the microbiome, the more we study the invisible war that goes on inside the gut, the more we study that, the more we realize that the gut, when the microbiome is damaged, compromised, it can lead to a cascade of problems. Okay? It can. Leaky gut, leaky brain. What did I talk about yesterday? Parkinson's. The new studies on Parkinson's. What are they saying? A damaged microbiome, a war. Guys, I've taught you this. An invisible war. You can't see it. Okay? It's like in the Bible, Ephesians chapter 6. There's a whole chapter there on a war that goes on behind the scenes. Okay? Against a good and evil. It's an invisible war, but it's there nonetheless. It's the same thing in your gut, my friend. And people don't know that. And, medicine is slow to react to that. I was talking yesterday about fecal transplants, okay, in Parkinson's. Actually taking good poop, well, putting it in a capsule and giving it to patients as a treatment. Okay, it's happening. Okay? And the idea is you take somebody that's healthy, has a healthy microbiome, and you transplant it. Okay? I like probiotics better, to tell you the truth, rather than taking a capsule of poop. Okay? Now, that's just me. Am I against it? No. The research sounds very promising, but it comes back to leaky gut. Now, what is the number one cause of leaky gut? What is the number one cause of it? Okay? Cause. Antibiotics. It's a modern phenomenon. Just like insulin is a modern phenomenon. Why, guys, think about this for a minute. Why do we see more heart disease than ever? We're on more medications than ever. And yet there's heart disease. We haven't even made a dent. It's gotten worse. Cancer has gotten worse. Hasn't gotten better. I always use the illustration of when I was in school. I remember it like it was yesterday. 1 out of 20 Canadian women and American women will get breast cancer. It's down to about 1 out of 6 now. Okay? We're not winning the war. Alzheimer's. We're not winning the war because we're looking for love in all the wrong places. We're looking for a medication. Alzheimer's is worse than ever. Dementia is worse than ever. And diabetes, obviously, is worse than ever. Because it's unreal. I mean, the answer's right in front of us. Think of diabetes. The answer's right in front of us. Diabetes is an allergy to sugar. It's called sugar diabetes, or at least it used to be called that. So what are we doing about it? Oh, moderation. If your blood sugar is low, have a chocolate bar. Have a granola bar. You know what? If you got a granola bar somewhere, throw it in the garbage. Because that's what it is. It's pure garbage. But you get the gurus out there, they'll go, well, a granola bar, that's better than a piece of cheese. Because they don't know what they're talking about. Okay? A granola bar's got oats. Yeah, well, you're not a horse. Anywho, okay? I didn't want to get sidetracked too much this morning. Okay, now, the third seed of disease is oxidative damage. Okay? Do you get our emails? If you don't, why don't you get those? Okay? Go to martinclinic.com and sign up for our emails. We'll send you our emails. Because we talked this morning about oxidative damage. We're all rusting out. It's a seed of disease. We're rusting out. Okay? If you don't believe that, I'll show you a picture of me when I graduated. I should have had it with me here. Okay? My graduation picture in 1974. Do I look like I did in 1974? No. I used to have hair. Okay? I don't look like I used to. And neither do you. Okay? Now, some of us are aging better than others. Okay? But we're all rusting out. Okay? We're all rusting out. It's called oxidative damage or free radical damage. And it's a seed of disease. You're born really to die. You're going, like I don't mean to be morbid. You can get all the Botox you want, the facelifts you want, but eventually you're going to rust out. Okay, just the way it is. And some people rust out. You look at cancer, okay? I used to use this as an example, okay? Cancer. You ever seen someone with cancer? Put your hand up. Yes, you have, right? What do you see when, I remember, I use this as an example. I hadn't seen this guy in probably a couple of months, okay? He comes to see me in my office. I'm talking about in the 70s, I think. I'm just using an example. I didn't recognize him. What? I didn't recognize him. He had changed so much in a couple of months. When he just got the diagnosis that he had terminal cancer, I think it was pancreatic, if I'm not mistaken, and liver. And I didn't recognize him when I saw him. He had aged so much in a short period of time. It was so dramatic, I didn't recognize him. And I used to have coffee with him all the time. And who are you? Well, you see, free radical damage, because when cancer takes off, you rust out like in rapid deterioration. Rapid. Okay? And you guys have seen it. I've seen it. Even in children with cancer. It's terrible. Okay? So those are the 3 seeds of disease from the Martin Clinic. Okay? And we've been pounding this for a long time. I've written several books, Tony Jr. and I, on the seeds of disease. Okay? And interesting. And you rarely ever hear it. Because medicine, if you talk to them about insulin, if your blood sugar is normal, it's in normal limits, don't worry, be happy. Okay? Leaky gut. I remember, now it's more common now, but you got to go back. Go back with me when I started my radio show well over 25 years ago. And I used to talk about leaky gut, and I would get doctors telling my patients and my listeners, that guy is crazy. Well, they were right about that. I am crazy. But that guy is crazy. There's no leaky gut. What is he talking about? But research, research is catching up to leaky gut. And I could bring you a study a day on the importance of leaky gut, and it is a seed of disease. And then, obviously you have to know what happens in leaky gut. Antibiotics, the greatest discovery of the 20th century, has become the curse of the 21st. Who said that? I said it. I said it 25, 30 years ago. The greatest discovery in medicine ever is what? Antibiotics. Saved millions and millions of people's lives. But they started a problem in the gut that spreads everywhere. Why? Because when you don't have enough friendly bacteria, an invasion takes place in your body. You don't even know it. It sneaks up on you. It's an invasion of toxic yeast that gets into your body. And then, of course, you feed it with sugar. So sugar does this for insulin, and sugar really has a major effect. Not on causing leaky gut as much, although it is a factor, but feeding the enemy, yeast. And I have been saying that a long time. Don't feed the bears. Don't feed the bears. True or false? Okay? That's true. Oxidative damage. Free radical damage. Don't rust out so fast. Okay? And that's what happens inside your blood vessels. They rust out. They lose their elasticity. Cancer cells become renegades. Happens in your brain too. Okay? Happens in your brain too. Now, just checking my time here. Okay, we got time. We got time to go into the last two because this is really important. I'm adding them to the seeds of disease. Okay? Now, I'm going to do this because this creates inflammation. Okay? If you talk to doctors who think outside the box, they'll go, oh yeah, silent inflammation is a seed of disease. It's not really. Okay? Because what have we always said at the Martin Clinic? Inflammation is not Houdini. There's a reason for inflammation. So you have to bring it 3 steps back. Insulin resistance causes inflammation. Leaky gut causes inflammation. Oxidative damage causes inflammation. Oh, yeah, because inflammation's not Houdini. Martin Clinic. Okay. You have to understand that Tony Jr. and I, we sit around and talk a lot. We really do. Okay? My son is smart like his mother. Okay? Very, very intelligent boy. I know he's my son, but I just got to brag about him. Okay? And we sit and we talk. And we go through stuff. And we come to some conclusions. And this is it. Okay? Now, I want to tell you about 2 more. And this might take more than a couple of sessions. Or, I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to add these because the new research is showing that these are seeds of disease. inflammation will come with a deficiency in these two things. New, hot off the press. Okay? Don't mind my writing. Vitamin D. Does that look like a D or a no? Vitamin D. Okay? Vitamin D, a seed of disease. When you are deficient in vitamin D, you're not going to be healthy. Study after study. Why do you think I wrote the book, Sun, Steak, and Steel? Do you think I was kidding? I wasn't kidding. And in that book, I talk to you about the importance of vitamin D. And when you're deficient, all-cause mortality goes up. And when you're deficient in vitamin... Listen, guys. Okay? Listen. Linda, listen. Larry, listen. Vitamin D, listen. You can't even grow plants without vitamin D. True or false? True. Vitamin D is essential. The sun. You know what? And 80%, probably more, are low in vitamin D, the population. They don't have enough vitamin D. And the measurements for vitamin D are skewed. Because all that has happened in medicine, and God love them, okay? I love doctors. But they don't know anything about vitamin D. They're scared of it. There's a war on it. They don't want you to take vitamin D. Or if you do take it, if you get 1,000 IUs, you're gonna croak. No, you're gonna croak if you don't take vitamin D. And I'm sorry, those of us who live in Northern Ontario, I know that, the climate is changing. Well, you know what? Good luck getting us vitamin D from the sun in the winter in Northern Ontario. Okay? You live in Canada? Good luck. Good luck. But vitamin D, if your vitamin D is low, your risk of cancer, in the book, your risk of cancer is up. Your risk of heart disease is up. What has vitamin D got to do with the heart? A lot. Your risk of Alzheimer's is up. Your risk of diabetes is up. Your risk of autoimmune disease is up. The five big killers in our society. Chronic disease. Vitamin D is a seed of disease. Low vitamin D. We have to put it there because the more research they do on it, the more they realize it. And I'm not talking about mainstream medicine. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Because in mainstream medicine, even today, in 2023, they will say, well, vitamin D, yeah, you need vitamin D for your bones. Ugh. It's unreal how scared they are of the sun. They've made the sun the boogeyman. The boogeyman. The sun and cholesterol are the boogeyman. They'll kill you. And people are scared skinny. of the sun. And yet you can't live without it. You're a human solar panel. Where did you hear that first? Here. A human solar panel. Every cell in your body is looking for vitamin D, especially your immune cells. Okay? Especially your immune cells. Vitamin D. Okay, the new one, and I'm going to finish with this, okay? And I'll go into more detail at a later date because I don't want to keep you all day. The other one is another vitamin, and I am going to, what do you think it is? Coffee? Well, you're close. B12. Okay? The other one is vitamin B12, and let me tell you about a new study that came out. Okay? Here it is. You'll hear it here and probably nowhere else. Listen to what it says. B12 deficiency is a hidden link to inflammation. Published in the Journal of Science and Food and Agriculture. A new study, it measured people who were low in B12, their C-reactive protein, and their interleukin-6, which is another measurement of inflammation, was up. Low B12, high inflammation. What does inflammation do? Okay? It's not a seed of disease. It's a result of the seed of diseases. What does inflammation do? It destroys. Inflammation, your body's ambulance system. You need an ambulance inside your body. You hurt yourself. The ambulance comes. You have a cold or a virus. The ambulance comes. It brings extra protein. It brings extra enzymes. It brings repair mechanisms. It brings extra immune things to the site. Why do you think you feel so bad when you get a cold? A little cold, you can't even see the virus. And you're sick like two dogs. And your head is pounding. And your sinuses. You ever get a sinus infection? You want to get in front of a firing squad. Would you shoot me and get it over with? You don't feel good. You ever have a real bad sore throat? That's inflammation. It's on your side. Okay? Inflammation equals pain. But the other side of inflammation is when it doesn't go away. And now, what was your friend becomes your enemy. And it destroys blood vessels, cells, the seeds of disease, including the new one, B12. And the world has gone stupid. Why? Oh, Dr. Martin, my doctor said, don't eat red meat because red meat's bad. I said, your doctor is bad. Why? Because the only place you're ever going to find B12 is in red meat. If God put B12 in red meat, do you think he told you not to eat it? I get people telling me that even every day. Red meat, bad, cancer, heart disease, red meat. No, it's the opposite. I don't care what the narrative is. It isn't true. People are extremely low in B12. And it is inflammation causing. And inflammation, like I said, unattended, will destroy you. It's not a seed of disease. But these 5, I've got to put them in the category. I've got to put vitamin D there. I've got to put B12 there. Guys, this is earth-shattering research. But don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath for the world to agree with us. Don't hold your breath. But back here, that's the truth. And the truth will set you free. Okay, we love you. Guess what tomorrow is? Question and Answer Friday. Did we love you? Yeah, because we have Question and Answer Friday. You guys like it, and so do I. Rapid fire. I'm going to breathe now and tell you I love you, and we'll talk to you soon.